this is Brad at YogaPod. So before we get going, I just wanted to make a quick note that we're going to be using some towels. So for some kind of like some abdominal release stuff. And so if you have them available in your immediate vicinity, or else if you can get there quickly, find a couple of towels. Maybe you only need one thick bath towel, and you'll end up rolling it up in this form here, and that might not be sufficient. So if your towels are kind of thin like this one, maybe it might take two of them. So go ahead, grab a couple towels. If you're watching this later on and it's not live, then you could pause it and then do so. Otherwise, grab those towels and roll them up as such. All right, so I'll give you a couple of moments here to work on that. And so a nice round amount can be pretty useful for you. And then just set them aside for the moment, unless you are intrigued with what is going on there. And I'm going to come over to this part just to make sure I have a clock going. All right. All right. I think we're getting pretty close to set. Again, if you are getting ready to take the class, I just want to make sure that everybody knows that we have, that we're going to use some towels. So go ahead and grab a couple of towels and roll them up into a nice tight little ring. You might grab a couple of blocks if you need them. And again, so it's about this thick, like an extra thick big city burrito, so it's nice and tight. It's not too big. We don't want to have it as big as a mat rolled up, but we want to have it appropriately, kind of about 4 inches wide, maybe somewhere in there. A small blanket can also work if it's fairly thin. So go ahead and grab those if you're going to get on this into this practice. What we're going to work with today is I had a request from a great friend of mine, Michelle, and she's been doing yoga for quite a while, and she's always a lot of people right now at this time, especially if you're not able to get into the studio as it is with this current situation that we have going on. It's hard to maintain this, the strength in the abdominals and in the lower, and then the lower back has a lot of repercussions when we do a lot of sitting, or when we're so I know a lot of people are sitting at dinner tables, or they're sitting at a home desk when they would normally be sitting maybe at an office desk, and where they would have a more optimal position for doing different work, or else just maybe in general, if you find yourself sitting, you're a grad student, something like that, and you're just doing a lot of study and work or driving, a lot of times that can have a lot of can cause a lot of issues with our lower back, a lot of lower back pain in our culture, and a large part of it is simply because of that. Also, it's a genetic thing for a lot of people. However, the sciatic nerve, which is a nerve that ties in towards into the spine back here in the, I think, lower part of the spinal column, maybe even up in towards the lower back, where the diaphragm meets the spine, a little bit lower than that area there, and then it wraps down the backs of the legs, and so it is a long nerve. It can go to the back of the knees and even maybe a little bit further. Anytime we have nerve pain, usually what's happening is that there's some pressure put on that nerve anywhere within that nerve. This is how I understand it. I'm not a doctor, a physical therapist. As a yoga student, I come up against this, or the yoga teacher and student, I come up against different questions. And when we have sciatic pain, it could be that nerve could be pinched in various different areas, and then you could find the results of that pain anywhere along the length of that nerve. And so sometimes you'll have compression in the lower back and feel it in the back of the knee. You can feel it, sometimes the piriformis muscle, which is back here, will cause a little extra compression on that nerve, and people will feel the pain in their lower back, or they'll feel their lower back seize up. Generally, what we're looking at, and the general cues for how to get rid of some sciatic issues or sciatic pain is to think about lengthening the lower back. So if I were sitting at a table or if I were doing computer work, there's always this tendency to slouch into it, which causes the lower back to round, which actually can cause a little bit of relief for a sciatic issue, but it causes the stomach to fully relax. And so I'm here in this position. Most people's natural tendency is to realize that that's not good alignment or good posture. And so what they'll do is they'll set up straight. They'll pull their ears back and they have a better upper body torso action. And when we have that action, we have that liftedness in the heart. And actually it's a better way of like maintaining awareness and focus, just simply because we're not here dreary. We're up and lifted and we feel that, but that causes another compression in the lower back, and that can really cause some of that sciatic issues as well. And so the sciatic nerve, it can be really, really problematic for a lot of people. When we do our yoga practice, we have a tendency, if we're going into a twist or into some sort of arrangement, we will either we'll set up super straight, which causes that same curvature in the lower back that if we were sitting at the computer trying to set up super straight. And so we go into a twist, and as we move into that twist, we kind of have this tendency to collapse into one side of the lower back as we twist, and so that can cause problems as well. And so when we're working through our practice, we want to think in terms of how do we strengthen our lower back without shortening off the front of the body. Super difficult, right? Because we in order to lengthen the lower back, we have to re-engage through the front of the core in order to create that roundedness. But then when we do that, we start to really build an extra compression in the abdomen, and it's not necessarily the same kind of engagement as if we were strengthening our abdominals. A lot of times it's just this collapsing, or it can cause some different fatigue in the hip flexors depending on the situation. And so what we really want to think about is the coiling of the tailbone down, which is going to draw length into the lower back. The SI joints will find some space or some equilibrium a little bit. And so as we do that type of a posture here, I'm halfway there. Then I want to lift up. So if I'm in this form here, I want to tuck in through the tail, my legs start to strengthen, and then I lift up. And that's a more optimal position for creating length in the lower back so that there's not that compression or that pinching in the nerve. When I rotate open, there's that tendency to want to squeeze in and keep the hips in arrangement. And then you'll hear the cue, well, let the hip flow back, which we do want, but that causes that extra curvature there. So the hip flows back, but we still have to squeeze in. So it's not one or the other, it's both, like most yoga postures or most yoga alignment cues. So as I move into this posture, I want to think the hip moves back gently, but then I also want to keep the tailbone coiling towards my heels and then lifting up the heart. And so we're going to work with those different actions today. Again, if you haven't grabbed a towel or a blanket and rolled it up into this form, go ahead and do so right now. And then from here, we're going to start in a posture called Tadasana, which can be translated as a star pose. And so you'll start with your feet separated, your hands out in front, and it's a lot like a Baddha Konasana or even what do they call it? Tortoise pose. And so the elbows drawn wide, and then you can let your head be heavy, thinking in terms of pressing the tailbone down and allowing your body to fold forward. And so feeling that space in the lower back, allowing your breath to normalize. Sometimes spreading the feet a little bit will allow you to activate through the abdominal so you can deepen the groin. Some people bringing a brick in between their heels will help separate the inner thighs a little bit wider. It's always a good opportunity or a good option if you're working on your Karmasana or your tortoise pose, or maybe everybody else is working on their tortoise pose and you're not quite there that day, then this star form can be super useful. From there, go ahead and come up. Pressing your shins, starting in this form here. Let's go ahead and bring hands to heart center. As we bring your hands to heart center, lengthen the spine. Try not to round into the lower back too much. Lift up through the heart. Try not to curl the tailbone back behind you too much. Instead, sit up nice and strongly. And let's go ahead and start here with one Om. Deep breath. From here, go ahead and come to seated, legs straight out in front of you, and then walking your hips back a little bit. Feels like the tailbone's walking back behind you. It kind of is. Sitting bones are walking back. It allows you to deepen here. Bend your knees a little bit. Coil the tailbone in towards your heels, and then set up really straight. If you need to, in order to create that action, you can use the bricks here. Pull with your heels a little bit. When we activate the hamstrings, it lengthens the tailbone down. And then it also will cause that curling in. Lift up out of the heart. Lift your chin up initially, but then pull the ears back and the chin will come back down. You'll feel your core engaged, but again, we're not doing crunches. We want to feel that upward lifted action. The pubic bone kind of drawn back in towards your sacrum, tailbone drawn long, and then as the pubic bone draws in a little bit, we want to think about lifting up the heart. Now, if you feel strong here, there's no ducktailing, right? We want to think about coiling the tailbone in. If you feel strong there, arms can come up. And again, with your heels on the floor, pull a little bit. Press the lower kidneys back a little bit so you feel the rounding in the upper middle back, so you feel this action here. And then bring the hands down. Take palms down to the floor, then take your shoulders up. And feel your lower back start to lengthen. Keep the tailbone down, draw forward, pull with the backs of the legs, and then inhale, lift the arms up. And so this is actually a very full back bend here, a very full rounding of the back, a good back stretch, because I'm pulling lengthened with the legs, I'm lifting up through the back of the body, hugging the rib cage in, and then from there, rolling the heart open without closing off the back of the heart, creating that action, and then lifting it up. The hands in this form here helps to stretch out the side of the body. So to make it easier, and then lift the chin up. Try not to close off the back of the heart. Try not to roll the shoulder blades onto the back of the body. Creating space, and then lifting up the heart. Push into the floor, tailbone drawn down. Take one more full breath here, inhaling, exhaling. And then from there, go ahead and release. Let your arms come back beside. Draw your hips back, take the tailbone down. Inhale, lift your chin up off your chest. Exhale, fold in. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, lift the chin up off the chest. Exhale, coil the tailbone in. 1 more time, inhale, lift your chin up off the chest. Exhale, coil the tailbone in. Inhale, come up, take your right arm back behind you, keeping your heels almost pressing towards one another. Coil your lower back in, take the tailbone, draw it down, take your left arm, inhale, side body long. As you exhale, roll the right shoulder back and twist. Right hip moves backwards as you draw into the twist, just a natural orientation. But then from here, take your right hip and press gently forward. Not too much. That way, both sides of your lower back are finding similar length. Then float your back arm, reach towards the side. Keep the tail coiled down. Equal weight in both sitting bones, another way to think about it. Inhale, arms come up to the top. Keep the coil. Bring your left hand back behind you. As you move into your twist, feel your hip move back and then press forward. Coil the tailbone. Lift up through the heart and then hold the pose here. Inhaling. 2. Draw the navel in, but try not to lean weight forward. Coil the tail, lift the heart. And then inhale, arms come up. As you exhale, drop the arm and twist. Inhale, activate through the feet, arms come up, and exhale, drop and twist. So 2 more times, or 1 more time to both sides. Exhale, pull it back. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, twist. 1 more time. Inhale, and then exhale, drop the arm, move into your twist. Last one, inhale, arms up, and then exhale, twist towards the left. Good. And then bring your hands down to the floor, cross your shins, pull your knees up into the chest. So similar pattern, pull back, knees in, and then from here, take your arms, find that roundedness here. So find the roundedness first, and then from there, lift up the back or the front of the heart. Keep the knees drawn in towards your rib cage. If that's a lot for you, pull toes back towards your hips. And then release for a moment, or switch out your ankles. Knees up towards your armpits, feel the squeeze. Back of the body, sides of the body expanding, and then lift up the front of the heart. So again, we don't want to come into this boat pose here. We want to coil in, and then lift up the heart to the sky. 4, and then 5. Squeeze your heels in, rotate forward, bring your hands onto the mat, tabletop posture. Bring your knees together, inhaling, lift your heart forward. As you exhale, coil in, cat and cow. Inhale, try to keep your lower back flat as you pull the heart forward. Exhale, press your tailbone down towards the floor. You could bring a brick to your lower back. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, push your tailbone down towards the floor, round through your upper back. Inhale, heart forward, collarbone spreading. Exhale, press into the floor, squeeze in. Take your legs a little bit wider, normal width distance right underneath your hips. Inhale the heart forward, try not to drop it down. As you exhale, press the tailbone down gently, draw your chin in. Inhale, open up the heart forward. Exhale, press the tailbone down, but don't drop the brick. 1 more time, inhale, heart forward. Exhale, press your tailbone towards the earth, squeezing in, pubic bones drawn back to equalize. And then release. Take your knees wider this time, wider towards the outside edge of the mat. As you inhale, the pubic bone rotates back. We want to relieve some of that, or relieve some of that extra or unnecessary compression. So press the tailbone down, pubic bone drawn back so your waist becomes long. Inhale, heart forward. Float the kidneys. Exhale, press into the floor, squeeze your knees inward. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, keep squeezing the knees in, curl in, wrap the tailbone down towards the earth. Inhale, keep the wrapping, heart forward. Exhale, squeeze in. Then inhale, extend the heart forward. As you exhale, if your brick's on your back body, then go ahead and change that. And then from here, go ahead and come so that you take your right leg out at about a 45-degree angle, 30 or 45-degree angle. Take your left foot out to the outside a little bit, so not straight back behind you. Bring it out to the front of maybe 30-degree angle as well. And then push into the floor. When we take the foot directly back, it causes us to collapse into our right hip. So instead, bring it to the outside, and then imagine you're trying to pull your right knee off of the floor. So your left foot's out, right knee off of the floor, and then twisting. So try to find that action. Instead of being here in this nice front body stretch, think pulling in, pressing into the floor. Feel the length in the left arm. Coil the tailbone in. Feel the shoulder blades roll forward a little bit, so you're really rounding in. Pull the right knee up off the earth. See if you can feel that engagement, and then maybe creating space and lengthening. 1 more breath. Inhale and exhale. And then bring your left hand down to the floor. Lift your left leg back up behind you. And exhale, bring it down. Rotate your left foot out just a little bit. Take your right leg out at a 45-degree angle. So 30, 45 degrees. Fingertips with the right. And then from there, try to lift up your left foot off of the floor, left knee off the floor. So again, we can find that nice stretch. It feels great here. Different thing. We're working a different action. So push into the floor. Take the tailbone down. Try to lift your left knee off the floor. Feel that engagement. Press through your fingertips. And again, it's like we have that curling of the front body. So the tailbone is drawn long. We're pulling the left knee off the floor. And then from there, reaching out. Keep the tail coiled under. Try to lift up out of your left hip. 3, 4, and then 5. Hand comes down to the floor. Bring your knee back in. Inhale, right leg comes up behind you. And again, take the tailbone long. Stretch out the front of the hip. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, lift the right leg back up behind you. Exhale, knee to nose. Again, inhale, lift the right leg up behind you. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, reach it up. As you exhale, bring your knee towards your right shoulder. Squeeze, tailbone down. Try to lift the left knee. Inhale, right leg back. Exhale, knee to shoulder. One more time. Inhale, lift it back. Exhale, knee to shoulder. Pause there. Maybe extend your leg. Bring it back in. Reach it back, and then release down. From there, left leg comes up. So again, try not to collapse into your lower back. Pull away from the earth. Exhale, knee to nose. You can think about trying to lift up your right leg here. Your right knee up off the floor. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, reach it back. Lift your right knee off the floor. Exhale, squeeze in. Inhale, reach it back 3 times to the shoulder. Exhale, coil the tail. Inhale, reach. Exhale, coil the tail. Inhale, reach. Exhale, knee towards the shoulder. Maybe extend. Bring it back. Inhale. Exhale, legs up. Now coil the tailbone towards the floor. Push into the floor. Lift your hips up into puppy pose, downward dog type variation. So knees to the outside. Reach your arms long. Press your lower back towards the sky. Lift your lower spine. Lift your chin up off the chest. Lower spine's lifted. Press your tailbone towards your heels. So really roll your lower back in and then extend the arms long. From here, let's go ahead and lift up your right leg, and then from your left leg, lift up out of the floor. Try to keep your right leg straight, but externally rotate the hip. Push up out of your left foot. Press back down through your heel. Try to lift your left foot off the floor, even as you find that you're pressing deeper into the earth. Inhale, lift it up higher, and then exhale, release, bring it down. Left leg, inhale, lift it up, open, leg is straight. Push the leg to the sky. With this one, you can collapse into the right side. It feels fairly natural because we start to think about yoga is about stretching, and I feel a nice stretch on my left side body, but I want to push down into the floor and then feel the sucking up out of the right hip. The left leg is just facilitating the external rotation. Release your left foot down to the floor. Find some strength in the legs. Suck them up off the floor even as you press them deeper into the floor. Maybe you float your toes. Inhale, come forward into high plank pose and hold. So I want to make sure that my hips are lifted up away from the earth. Push down through the upper, through the tailbone, lifting the pubic bone back up in towards the body. So you want to feel that drawing in up in this high plank pose, up on the toes, push into the floor. The chin isn't curled in so much here. Sometimes that's useful, but instead keep your neck long. So here we're kind of shortening aspects of the spine. So thinking in terms of lengthening through the back of the neck. Tailbone coils down. Go ahead and press back to down dog. Inhale up on the toes, push into the floor. Lift your chin a little bit. Exhale. One more time. Inhale, unroll into that plank pose. Lift the chin. Exhale, the hips come back. Go ahead and step to the front of the mat. Feet hip width distance. Bow in, a little bit of a ragdoll pose. Feel the backs of the legs drawn, almost like you're trying to slide your feet back behind you using the back of the leg strength. So suck the legs back towards the back of the mat, and then let your body be heavy. coil the tailbone, lift the abdomen, pull with the legs a little bit. Maybe you press them a little bit straighter. Interlace the fingers behind the back of the skull. You can also bring the palm of the hands so that your thumb's more towards your eyes and your ears are in between your thumb and pointer finger, and then lengthen the spine longer. Activate through the legs, hollow the abdomen, pressing the breath out, create lengthened spine. Activate through the backs of the legs. That'll feel the sits bones move away from one another, which can feel relieving. It can be useful. But then squeeze the outsides of the hips in gently. What does gently mean? For me, it means enough so that I can feel the effects of the arrangement or the alignment without forcing or without really engaging too much. So different ways of engaging the posture. Pull the heels back, press the tailbone towards the floor, bend the knees a little bit, and then from here, round your upper back. Knees bent, press into the floor. So we want to think rounding of the upper back, hollowing through the front of the body. If our legs are straight, rounding is a little bit more suspect. Bend the knees quite a lot, roll into the pose. Keep your knees bent as you come up to stand, and then at the top, reach your legs long and bring your arms to the sides. So we want to think about that diving of the tailbone down. Legs might need to be apart for you if that causes you to ducktail. Otherwise, your primary standing posture, balancing posture, your first one would be our Samastihitihi. So from here, with legs separated as you need to, press your tailbone to the floor. Think about going into the slightest of Utkatasanas. And then inhale, bring your arms up. Stay here. Tailbone drawn down, back of the body expand. Expand through the back of the kidneys. See if you can feel your kidneys pressing towards the back of the mat. Roll the collarbones open. So as you set nice and deep into this form here, roll the collarbones open. Lift the chin up. Try not to come into a back bend. Press the tailbone. Roll through your lower back. Lift the heart up to the sky. And then as you exhale, folding forward, knees can stay bent. Bring your hands onto the mat. Inhale, lift your chin up. Keep the tailbone coiled down. As you exhale, fold forward yet again. Roll your lower back. Inhale, this time without hanging the arms down. Roll the tailbone towards the floor. Reach your arms forward and inhale. Come all the way up to stand, tailbone rooted in. Samastihitihi. So we'll do that one more time. From here, bend the knees a little bit. Inhale, back body expands. Reach up to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Tailbone roots into the mat. Maybe your legs move towards straight. Inhale, roll your lower back towards the ceiling, tailbone towards the floor, but then lift your heart up. So try not to let the hips escape too far back. Keep them coiled in. Hips might move back and lift the heart. Exhale and fold forward. Again, tailbone drawn down, knees bent as needed. Inhale, roll your lower back and lift the front of the heart. And exhale, fold. This time we'll use the same process to come all the way up. Tailbone anchored, legs are strong. Inhale, reaching up and come all the way up to the top. And exhale the arms to the side. Samastihitihi. Roll the tailbone in. Root the legs. Inhale, arms come up. And then as you exhale, fold forward. Tailbone wraps towards the earth. Inhale, roll the heart open. Lift your chest as you exhale. High plank pose. Step back into the high plank pose. And again, try not to drop your hips down. Keep your tailbone rooted towards your heels. Pubic bone pulled back towards your sacrum. Tone through the abdomen. Then from here, lift the chin up. So the chin up draws length into the front of the body rather than just curling everything in. So the chin comes up. As you exhale, bring your knees down, chin down, chest down. And then from here, tailbone drops down. That tailbone dropping down. It's the same thing we've been doing on all of those back body stretches from that standing form. So tailbone down, rib cage up. That action there. Then roll the heart forward. Lift the heart, collarbone spreading. As you exhale, find your child's pose and then lift your legs towards straight for your down dog. Press into the floor, lots of strength in the legs. Press into the floor, lift your kidneys towards the sky. So see if you can press your sacrum towards the ceiling, tailbone down, and then elongate the thighs away from your ribs, the ribs away from the thighs. Find both patterns there. Take a deep breath. Inhale, come forward into your high plank pose. As you exhale, coil the tailbone, bending the knees, float or step to the front. Inhale, lift the heart, roll the lower back. Exhale, folding in. And then inhale, arms come up, reach up to the sky, tailbone roots. Exhale, arms to the side, Samastihi. Inhale, the arms come up, root the tailbone, hips move back. As you exhale, folding forward, hands come down. Inhale, lower back rolls as you shift weight into the hands, lift the chin. As you exhale, high plank, lower down, knees down, chin down, chest down. Tailbone rolls in, roll the heart open. As you exhale, child's pose to downward facing dog. One more breath, inhale. Finish out the exhale, press the tailbone towards the earth, lift the sacrum, look forward, float or step forward. Inhale, lift the heart open. Exhale, fold in, coil the tailbone. And then from here, inhale, rise all the way up towards the top, Samastihi. Arms to the side. One more time with that similar form. Root the tail, pull the ribs, arms come up, inhale. As you exhale, folding, hands down. Inhale, lift the heart, press the palms into the floor. Chaturanga, hold. Knees down, chin down, chest down, tailbone down. Roll the spine. And then exhale, child's pose for a moment. So find your child's pose. We're going to work on Utkatasana. It's a very popular pose, especially among the craft brew fanatics, right? So Utkatasana. So from here, we're going to work on Utkatasana from this form. Imagine your feet are on the wall. Maybe your feet are on the wall. If you live in a small space, that can be useful. So feet on the wall, and then knees down, chin down, and chest down. Right, so I'm in this form here. Sorry, bring it further forward. Palms down, knees down, chin down, chest down. So this looks a lot like a lazy Utkatasana. If my arms are out in front, be a pretty good form of Utkatasana. But we want to take our tailbone towards our heels in order to feel that framing. And so from this push-up, more push-up orientation, take your tailbone down, lift the heart forward. That's Utkatasana. The waist pulls back, the rib cage pulls back, drawing the heart open at the same time. And so the tailbone's drawn down. Don't be lazy in the abdomen, but pull the tailbone down. Activate through the backs of the legs. That's why your toes are curled under here. Similar form here. Inhale, exhale, take the tailbone down, and then inhale, upward facing dog or cobra, and then exhale to child's pose, and then to downward facing dog. Let's bring our knees down to the floor. So you'll notice we'll have you coming into child's pose instead of directly into upward, straight into downward dog. Here's the reason. Most of the time, for me specifically, if I'm working on back bends, I do up dog, which is a back bend, and then I will take my hips back. Now you'll notice that curvature in my lower back, which is fine because I don't have the similar discomfort in my lower back, will cause me to start to articulate the back, which is great for backward bending, working on that action. Still, I want to feel my rib cage hug in. But if you're suffering from lower back pain or sciatic issues, as you find your way from up dog or cobra, coil the tailbone, find your child's pose, and now you're deep into your downward facing dog. When you straighten out your legs, it's pretty useful. So find your down dog, take a deep breath here, inhale, finish out the exhale, press the breath out, look forward, front of the mat. Inhale, lift the heart, maybe your legs move to straight if you can keep your lower back coiled in. Exhale, press into the floor. Root in, inhale, rising up, reach to the sky, and then exhale, arms to the side, Samastihi. Now, Utkatasana. Groin pulls back, pull the thighs back, so you want to feel the thighs almost have to catch so that you don't drop, fall on your butt. So now send your knees out in front. So now you have compression in your ankles, which is good. We want to think about end range strength. And so forward with the knees. Now take the tailbone down, press weight into the heels. The arms are out in front initially. Now feel that rolling of the armpits up, so the armpits lift up. And then from there, lifting the arms up, lift the chin up, reach up. If you feel like you've ducktailed, coil the tail under, but keep lifting the heart up. As you exhale, straighten the legs or keep them bent, hands down. Inhale, lift the heart open. As you exhale, low push-up pose, Chaturanga Dandasana. Lift the groin a little bit, take the tailbone down, find up dog, and then exhale to down dog. Lift your right knee up towards the sky, make it strong and long. As you exhale, knee to nose, coil in. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, knee towards your right armpit, so not the shoulder, the armpit, squeeze in. Inhale, lift the right leg high, left inner armpit, hug. Lift it high, inhale. Exhale, step into a deep lunge. Bring your back knee down to the floor and press your front big toe mound down into the floor. So your toe might lift up. The toe itself lifts up. The mound of the foot presses in to the floor. And then come up. Anchor the tailbone. Left hip directly underneath, or left knee directly underneath your hip. Push your front leg. Press that mound of the big toe down. So as I push that down, it shifts the weight back. Exactly what we want. Lower back is long. And then from here, maybe come up off of your front heel. Similar action. We find that engagement. Lower back lengthens, and then feel that activation. Now, if you have the mobility and you want to work some space into your front left hip flexor, keep the toe down, shift weight forward. And notice if I bring my heel down, I collapse. Keep the heel up, coil the tailbone, root into the floor. Now lift the arms up to the sky. As you exhale, drop the right arm, come into your twist. All sorts of things can happen here. Generally, this hip lifts up and I feel too much compression on this side. So keep the tailbone coiled under and feel that twist. Inhale, the arms come up to the top. Exhale, coil the tail and twist. One more time. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, coil the tailbone and then twist. Arms up. Inhale. Exhale, the hands down onto the floor, up onto your front foot. Imagine you're trying to pull it up off the floor. Step back, high plank, lower down, Chaturanga. Drop the tail, lift the heart, roll it open, and exhale. Hips to the sky, or child's pose, then hips to the sky. Breath or two. And then inhale, left leg comes up. As you exhale, coil the tailbone, come up onto your right toes, squeeze knee to nose. Inhale, lift it up, baby, lift your chin a little bit. As you exhale, squeeze in. Inhale, lift the leg, exhale, squeeze towards your right armpit. Lift it high, inhale, exhale into your lunge. Back knee underneath your hip. Press your front mound of the foot into the floor. So not here, not even lazy into the leg, because that'll just cause me to feel, it feels lovely. It's a nice stretch for the front of the hip, usually a tight part of the body, and so we get a lot of sensation. That doesn't necessarily mean we're doing what we need to do, especially if we have a sciatic issue. So now this left sits bone coils forward. Feel that coiling in, come up onto your front foot. So it's hard to collapse forward and come up onto the front foot. So we want to feel that action. Maybe lean into it a little bit. Feel your left hip draw down. Now roll your upper back. Come up into that form. Lean into it a little bit. As you exhale, find your twist. Try not to collapse into it, but keep the tailbone drawn long, reaching. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale and twist. Inhale, the arms come up. Exhale, twist, squeeze. And then arms up, inhale. Hands down to the floor. Push into the floor. Back knees up. Try to lift up your front foot. Step back, Chaturanga. Up dog, inhale. Pull it forward and up. Down dog, exhale. Hips towards the sky. Breath or two. One inhale here. Maybe up under the toes. Exhale, seek the tailbone. Deep, look forward. Front of the mat. Inhale, lift the heart forward. Keep the lower back rounding. And exhale, forward fold. Utkatasana. Take your tailbone down to the floor. root in, fingertips touch the mat, and then inhale, roll the heart open. As you exhale, coil the tailbone down, bring the arms beside you. So there's a tendency when we take the airplane pose to collapse forward because it sends the heart forward and it's easier. Tailbone down. See if you can feel that action. Now right knee comes up. We're going to keep our left leg bent and come on up. Inhale, Ekapada. So when I straighten my leg, I come into Ekapada with a back bend. When the left leg is bent, it allows me to move into this form. Then lift up the heart if you'd like to. Tailbone is sinking deep. Right sits bone forward, left sits bone drawn down. Push into the floor. Inhale, lift the heart higher. Exhale, keep the tailbone drawn down, arms back, coil in. Left leg this time. Keep the right foot rooted in, especially through the big toe. And then inhale, Ekapada. Come on up. Keep the right leg bent. Drop the left hip down and feel that action. Maybe you're able to lift your torso up a little bit more. As you exhale, Utkatasana, airplane arms. Coil the tail. Inhale, full Utka. Exhale, palms down. Inhale, shift energy into the heart. As you exhale, Chaturanga. Up dog. Inhale. Down dog. Exhale. Right leg up. Inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. Squeeze in. Inhale, lift it up. Knee to right tricep on the outside of the shoulder. So squeeze. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale this time. Thread it through without letting it drop. So maybe your foot's down, but if you can keep it strong, keep it strong. Push through your leg. So I'm going to switch around so you can see. So as my leg comes down, it's easy to collapse into the lower back. If I lift the leg up, I'm strong here. You could even reach out and touch for your foot. Push through your leg. Roll the heart open. Look down. Left hand down. Right leg comes back up behind you. As you exhale, step into your lunge. Root your front foot into the floor. Come up off of the front foot. Okay, tailbone drawn down. Back knee could come down if you need to. Coil the tail. Notice the difference. I'm off of my foot's down. My lower back wraps in. Push into the floor. Shift the weight towards the back leg. Keep the back leg strong. Inhale. Arms come up. Exhale. Right arm. Twist in. Right sits bone down. Push into the front foot. Arms up. Inhale. Exhale. Find your twist. Open it up. Inhale. The arms come up. Exhale. Twisting. And then inhale. The arms up. Deep breath. Exhale the hands down. Keep your right knee into the chest. Lift up your left leg. Exhale, knee to nose. Coil the tail. Both knees bend. Inhale, lift it up. Lift up out of the right hip. Keep the right hip, the right sit bone pressing down. Exhale, knee to nose. One more time. Inhale, lift the heart forward. Coil in. Exhale, squeeze in. Then from here, step back, move through your vinyasa. Or if you're up for it, keep the right knee up into the rib cage. And Chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. Lift the left leg. Inhale. Knee to nose. Lift the left leg. Inhale. Knee to left tricep. More towards the shoulder. Leg up. Inhale. Exhale. Back heel down. Thread it through. Maybe you keep it strong. Maybe you keep it, you bring it down, but try to push through. Hand could come, and then right arm up. Coil through the left hip. Push. Hand down. Left leg high. Step to your lunge. Push into your front big toe. Back knee can come down. Shift your energy forward, and then come on up. So you can play with it. When I bring my heel down, I kind of slouch in. Feels the stretch, but my lower back's taking the punishment. Come up onto your front toes. Arms up. Inhale. Exhale. Open it up. Inhale. Left sits bone drawn down. Exhale. Squeeze in. So it's not easy for me, probably not for most people. 4. And then releasing. Arms up. Inhale. Hands down to the floor. Push into the front leg. Lift up the right leg. Exhale. Squeeze in. Both knees to nose. Inhale. Lift up the right leg. Keep the left knee into the ribs. Exhale, squeeze in. So your left leg might stay bent. Inhale, exhale, coil in. This time as you inhale, lift the leg up, step back, flow through, or find your vinyasa. Lift up, and then up dog, and down dog, hips to the sky. 2 breaths, inhaling, and then exhaling. One more time, inhale. As you finish your exhale, bend the knees, look towards the front, step forward or float to the front. Inhale, lift chin up off the chest, tail down. Exhale, fold, wrap the body in. Utkatasana, right away with the right knee. So tailbone down, push it to the floor, arms beside you, tailbone rooting in. Inhale, right leg comes up, keep the left leg bent. Feel the strengthening, tailbone down. Maybe push through your right leg. Keep your left leg fairly bent, or push in if you can keep the kidneys pressing back. Exhale, airplane the arms. Coil the tailbone. Left leg this time. Inhale, come up into that ekapada with bent knees. Maybe push your left leg straight. Keep coiling, then push your right leg straight if you can keep the coil. Roll the collarbones back. Exhale, airplane your arms. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, palms press down. Inhale, unroll the spine, lift your chin. As you exhale, chaturanga. Up dog, heart expands. Down dog, hips to the sky. Always take that child's pose variation as you need to. Lift up the right leg high. Inhale, exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, lift it high. Knee towards the right tricep. Straighten the leg if you have the mobility. So push forward and push leg straight. Inhale, lift the leg high. Left side, back heel down. Push leg straight, reaching up. Inhale, left hand down, right leg up. Exhale, draw it forward, up onto your front toes, activate. Squeeze in, inhale, straight into crescent pose. Exhale, find your twist. Pause here, inhale, left arm comes up. Causes me to collapse into my right side of my lower back. So up on to the toes, left arm up, reach it back. Exhale, bring your hand towards the outside of your front foot. Coil, tailbone down. Make sure there's substantial weight in the mound of your front foot. Heel could come down. Hands could come to heart. Back knee could come down to the floor. Inhale, back up into crescent pose. Exhale, the hands come down to the floor. Lift up your left leg. Both knees to nose. Right knee stay into the rib cage. Squeeze in. This time, inhale, lift the left leg up, hands to heart. Exhale, squeeze in. Feel how the tailbone wraps in. One more time. Inhale, reach your left leg back. Right leg can stay bent or maybe push into the floor. Exhale, hands down. Rib cage drawn onto the knee. Inhale, lift up. Chaturanga to up dog. And then down dog. Left leg, inhale, lift it high. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, lift it high. Exhale, knee towards left tricep. Work your leg straight. Lift it high, inhale. Right side, thread it through. Keep it strong. And then maybe spin open. Hand down. Lift the left leg high. Exhale into your lunge. Back knee can come down if you need to. Arms come up. Find your crescent pose. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, drop your left hand. Come into your twist. Drop your left hand down a little bit. Reach your right arm up. And again, push your left shin forward. See if that helps to come up onto that toe a little bit. Inhale again. As you exhale, coil. Bring your elbow to the outside, hands to prayer, or right hand down to the floor. If you feel like you're sinking in, activate through the front leg and pull up, back leg strong. Rooting in, twisting. Look down, inhale, arms come up. As you exhale, hands down to the floor. Root weight into your front foot. Lift up your back leg, inhale, both knees to nose, coil the tail. This time, lift up the right leg, bring your hands off the floor. Left leg stays bent, coil the tail. Exhale, Knees in. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, bring your knees in. Bring your palms down. Find your vinyasa. Lift up. Step back or float. Chaturanga. Up dog, inhale. Down dog. Exhale, hips to the sky. About 3 breaths. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale, roll your spine a little bit. Exhale, bend the knees. Tailbone's coiled in, chin up. Float to the front. Inhale, lift the heart. Again, you never have to straighten out the legs here. Exhale, squeeze in. Utkatasana, right leg comes up. Inhale into your Utkatasana. Then straightening out your legs, reaching. As you exhale, hands to heart, find your warrior 3. And again, from here, if you feel like you're not doing anything in your hips, press down through your tailbone, bend your left leg. Now push into the floor, hollow the waist, maybe your leg moves towards straight. Inhale, and then exhale, bend your left knee, pull the leg through. Inhale, Utkatasana with the left leg, hug the leg up. Exhale, airplane your arms. Left leg this time, pull the knee up into the rib cage. Inhale, Utkatasana, then straighten out through your legs. As you exhale, maybe it touches, maybe you bend your right knee a little bit as you need to, coming into warrior 3, hands at heart, or airplane your arms. Coil the right sits bone down, so you want to feel lengthen the lower back, tone the front of the abdomen. And then inhale, bend your left leg as you need to. Right foot moves into that Utkatasana form. Lift it up. Inhale. Exhale, airplane the arms. Inhale, the arms come up, reaching up. Exhale, hands down to the floor. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, chaturanga, low push-up pose. And then inhale, up dog. Knees, chest, chin to cobra. Exhale, hips to the sky. And this time, let's go ahead and we'll come into a right side body, side plank. It'll be a little bit different. So, side plank, but we're going to make it from a down dog position. So come into your right side, right palm, press into the floor, and then bring your right outer heel down to the floor. Lift your hips high. Lift them way up. Now, it's easy to collapse in. Take your tailbone down. Come up onto your left fingertips and then lift it up. Keep your tailbone drawn long and then lift up the left arm. So lift the hips up, press the tailbone, draw it long, reaching. Left hand comes down. Lift the left leg up, bring it down. And then the left outer heel rotates down to the floor. Right foot starts to find softness. Push into the left hand up onto the right toes. Coil the tailbone under, lifting the right arm up towards the sky. Roll the heart open, you can look down, but keep the tailbone coiled in. Both sides of the lower back equal. Left side's getting a lot of strengthening. We miss out on that when we're just thinking about forward folding and back bending or the front side of the core. And then hips up. And then one more time. This time, outer right heel drawn down to the floor. Left fingertips, lift up your left leg, lift it up to the sky, and then left arm comes up as well. Coil the tail, push through your left heel, open up your heart, lift up to the sky. Try not to collapse into your lower back. Bring your toes forward, push into the floor, spin the heart. Left hand down, exhale, step into a lunge. Reach your front foot into the floor. Inhale, the arms come up, reach up to the sky, up on the front toes. As you exhale, airplane your arms, squeeze forward. Inhale, bring the arms up to the sky. As you exhale, find your twist. Rotate in. Inhale, arms come up again. As you exhale, hands can come down or bring your hands to your heart. Shift forward. Airplane your arms if you choose. and then half revolved, half moon. Lift up your right leg. Keep your left leg bent as much as you need. Left arm up. Use a brick if you need to, so that half moon form. Now press your left sits bone down to the floor, coil in, and then elevate the heart. Maybe your leg straightens. Keep the coiling. Puff your kidneys out. Look down to the floor. Bend your left leg. Arms might come up. Inhale into your crescent. Hands down to the floor. Lift up your right leg. Both knees to nose. Squeeze in. Look forward. Slide your hands back. Pistol squat. So always use breaks if you need. Now we get into our pistol squat form. Let's go ahead and sit down. So we want to make sure that our pistol squat form is correct. We don't want to have too much weight kind of leveraged back. So we draw the tailbone in, squeeze in, lift the leg. Try not to lean back. If you can, reach forward, coil, push through your heel. If you need to, push into the floor. Imagine coming up onto your left toes, right? So you want to really push into the floor. But we do want to keep the heel down. Sometimes that's the way that we modify it to make it easier. So then hands back beside you. Inhale, lift the leg. Slide the hands forward. Bend your right knee. Press your right leg up to the sky. Lift up. And then chaturanga, or knees down, chin down, chest down. Up dog, roll the heart, or cobra. Down dog, hips to the sky. So left side, bring your heels towards the left side, side plank. Then from here, start to lift up the right leg, lift up the right arm. Lift it up nice and high, reaching up. 2, tailbones drawn in. 3, 4, 5. Right hand down. Inhale, lift the right leg to the sky. Exhale, deep lunge. Inhale, the arms come up. Roll the spine as you rise up. Exhale, airplane. As you airplane, coil in, squeeze in. Inhale, the arms come up. Exhale, elbow to the outside, right arm up or hands towards your heart. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Push into your front leg. Right leg stays fairly bent here. Push into the mat. So right leg still bent. Left hand down or onto the brick. Now from there, right arm twist to the sky. And it's easy to collapse here. So push into the floor with your right leg. So lots of strength. Pushing, pushing, pushing. Reaching. 3. It's harder. 4. I bend the right leg. Bring your right hand down to the floor. Lift up your left leg. Exhale, both knees to nose. Lift it up. Inhale. Both knees to nose. Slide your hands back behind your hips so that you have something to hold you up, lest you land on your butt. Squeeze forward into your pistol squat. Release down if you need to. Coil the tailbone in and then lift up again. Maybe feel that different perspective. 2. So the reason I'm grabbing my foot is not to support it, but to give myself something to push against. Pushing causes my tailbone and sits bone to drop, just like if we were in that crescent lunge pushing through. Inhale, exhale, bring the hands out in front. Lift the left leg up to the sky. Bend the knees, find your vinyasa. Low push-up. Up dog. And then down dog. Alright, from here, move into a couple of different forms. Deep breath. Lift up your right leg high. Open up the hip to the side. And then from here, bend the knee. Try to pull your knees away from one another. Pull the heels away from one another. Press into the floor with your hands. And then if it's comfortable doing so, drop your hip foot over the shoulder. Push into the mat with your feet, even through the mounds of the feet, and spin open. Flip your dog. Right arm drawn back. Now it's a back bend, which means there's that curvature in the lower back. So press your tailbone forward. Push into the floor as you spin open. Press through the hips, tailbone. Activate the backs of the legs to pull the spine long. Look down, right hand down. Lift the right leg way up to the sky. Exhale, knee drawn in towards your nose. Back heel down. Find side plank with your leg lifted. Bring your hand down to the floor. Lift it up high. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, root into the front foot. Lift your left leg up, inhale. And then exhale, bring it all the way through. Pistol squat to seated. Right hand drawn back behind you. Lift up your left arm. As you exhale, drop your thumb. Bring your hand towards your right hip. So coil in. So as a Marichyasana C, the right hip moves back gently as I twist. That facilitates the moving of the body open, but it can cause a little collapse, or it can cause a little bit less engagement than we need. So we modify that. Add just enough to where you feel the sensation. Take the right sits bone, coiling it in. Right sits bone forward, hand can be towards your hip, or maybe you slide it forward towards your foot. You can also take a full bind. Right hip moves back initially, inhale pattern, draw the pubic bone down, exhale pattern, tailbone moving forward. Good, one more breath, inhale, exhale, twisting. All right, so that's really important when we come into twisting postures that we find both tensions. It's almost never just one tension. We have to make sure that we cultivate both. All right, so from here, taking your left foot, let's go ahead and draw your left foot in, but then right in front of your sitting bone, goes right in front of the sits bone. Hands to the sides here. Activate through your lower, the outside of your hip. Lean forward. Lift your front leg up. Let's do that 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then release. Bring your hand down. And this time, thumb drawn forward. Reaching. Coil the tail. So at this form here, take the pubic bone back a little bit, but then the tailbone drawn forward. Really activate through the backs of the legs. Pull with the backs of the legs as you spin open. If you feel like you're collapsing, you likely are, you can bring your leg further in front so that you have to coil further and then spin open. Activate through the back of the right shoulder, reaching body long. And then from here, bring your left hand down and come into Janu Shirshasana. So activate the front leg like you're trying to lift it. Causes that coiling. Reach forward. Find your other wrist. Coil the tailbone. Reach forward. Another way to know if you're coiling. Hands out in front. Coil. Coiling is that active engagement, drawing in, instead of just letting the hips move back. Coil in and extend. Coil in and extend. Both patterns simultaneously. One more full breath. Inhale and then exhale. Bring your leg up. Inhale. Cross your ankles. Pull your knees up into the chest. So you're in that form here. Bring your heels in. Tip weight forward. From there, lift up. Step back. Move through your vinyasa. Up dog. And then down dog. Lift up your left leg nice and high. And again, open up in towards that side plank form. Right? And then from here, really open up the outside of the hip. And then bend the knee. Pull the heels away from one another. Look over the shoulder. Push your right shoulder blade towards the floor. So push in. And then maybe you drop it back for your flip dog. Activate the legs. Not just pushing, but pull with your legs. So try to slide your feet back. Push into the floor. Outside of the right scapular shoulder blade, pushing into the floor. As I spin open, press pubic bone, kind of drawn in a little bit, but then back towards the sacrum. The tailbone's rooting and spinning open. Look down, hand comes down, lift the leg high, inhale, knee drawn in, and thread it through. Side plank variation. Keep it strong. Hug in. Release the right hand down. Lift the left leg high. Step forward. Deep lunge. Inhale. Bring the arms up. Deep breath. Exhale the hands down. Lift up your right leg here. Inhale. Bend your left leg. Pistol squat. Wait, did we do? All right, so bring your hands to your heart. Inhale. There we go. And then exhale. Bring it through. Pistol squat. Marichyasana twist. Left heel's drawn in. So we have that drawing in action. Seated on the floor, left hand comes back. It's that part C variation. So the knee moves forward even as the hip moves back. All right, so right arm comes up. As you exhale, bring your hand back beside you. All right, so that's the first element of the twist. Right hip moves forward, right? That makes the knee move out. So now take the left inner leg forward as we twist. And 1, activate the leg, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Inhale, look forward, and then exhale, release. Take your left heel towards your right sits bone, so the foot's more towards the outside. Take your hands to the outside. So we do a Janu Shirshasana, that forehead and knee pose, but here, root your fingers, lift your leg up 10 times. 1, so it causes you naturally to lean back, so lean into it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Releasing. Then from there, bring your foot to the inside. Inhale, reaching forward. Exhale, push your heel down. Pull the body forward a little bit with the leg strength. 1. So we're still in it. Utkatasana, right leg. So coil the tailbone down. Lengthen towards your heel. 4. And then 5. Bring your front heel down, your foot down to the floor. Left hand back. Pull in. Groin pulls, or the tailbone pulls long. Groin pulls back so that the waist narrows. And then inhale, pull open. Left hip should feel pretty great at that point. My right foot just got super lazy, so I'm going to push it into the floor and pull back. Feel that expansion. Pull with the back of the leg, tailbone drawn long. If I'm collapsing in the lower back, bending the leg or bring it forward. Coil the tailbone, spin open. Imagine you're trying to lift your left knee off of the floor, and then release down. And from here, bringing your legs in, cross your shins, pull the knees up towards your armpits, lean forward, palms press into the floor, step back or float back, Chaturanga Dandasana. I'll check the time here. Never enough time. And then from here, go ahead and come forward into high plank. Lower down, bring the knees down, find your blanket or your towel. All right. Okay, from here, what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of back strengthening postures before we wrap everything up. The idea here is that generally when we are working our lower back, especially the back strength, it can cause the hips to move back, like we know. The other thing is that a lot of the pain that we feel in our body, from what I understand, is from a tendency to tone the muscles around our nerves in our back body. And so we don't quite get the release that we need with our parasympathetic part of the nervous system. And so I already know that this is not tight enough for me, or there's not enough of a blanket here. So I'm going to roll it up just a little bit. You want to make sure that you can feel the blanket almost moving. It's almost towards your spine. So you might need to roll it up, or maybe you just learn this time and you try it again a little bit later. If you're watching this later, maybe you took that as an opportunity to change. You want to feel the blanket or the towel right in front, right in front of your hips. And press your elbows down, come up onto your toes, and feel the blanket or the towel start to press into your abdomen. It's not very comfortable, right? It's just very, very not comfortable at all. And then bring your hands under your shoulders and press up here. Might need to rotate it forward a little bit. Again, you might need a little bit more there if you don't quite feel it. Activate through the legs, press the tailbone down, strengthen the back body. Let's do 3 rolling cobras. Feel the pressing down, almost the pubic bone back behind. Inhale, come on up, and exhale, release it down. Chin down in, inhale, come back up, and exhale, release down. Last one. Inhale, come back up, and exhale, release down. Pause for a moment, draw length into the front of the body, take the tailbone down, lift up your legs. Bow pose or floor bow, reach back and lift up. Legs come up. Now you'll feel very awkward compression in your lower abdomen. That's really where we're at. We want to feel that action in the lower abdomen. Front of the hip flexors. You might find that you need to move back or forward. If it's uncomfortable in your stomach muscles, soften them. Push your toes towards the sky. And bring it down. Bring your hands down. Lift up your left leg and then open up into a little bit of a twist. Take the tailbone down long. Bring your knee and your heel together and twist open towards the front of the mat. Lengthen through both legs, through both sides of the lower back by squeezing knee and heel together. If you're up on your hands, that's perfectly fine as well. Knee and heel together lengthens the lower back as we twist open. If we just collapse in, we're back where we started from with that little bit of pain. And then bring it back down. Pause for a moment. Lift the legs, the torso. Feel the compression. Release it down. Lift up your right leg. You drop it back behind you. Bring it down. Move into your left leg. Knees move together. Or knee and heel together. And then come up into the twist. Push knee and heel together as you twist open. Elbows can be down. Keep the coiling in. Draw the tailbone long. One more full breath. And then from here, go ahead and release. Come up. Release your legs back to the center. Pressing your lower abdomen down onto the towel. Lift your legs up. Lift your arms up. Feel that compression in the lower abdomen. Soften your belly. Sometimes I can feel my pulse in the back of the body. Reach your arms long. I mean that. I mean my pulse in the towel. 4, and then 5, resting here. And then from here, legs in Viparini Karani. So you could do this up against the wall. You could do it in the middle of the room with the blanket there. Legs coming up quite naturally will cause the scoop of the tailbone, and it can be pretty pleasurable. If you need to, I'll just run through a couple of extra forms just in case you're still working on that the sciatica or any sort of SI issues. You can take the figure 4 pose, draw the leg in, reach through, find your hamstring or the front of the knee. You can also do this in Viparini Karani, or legs up the wall, and then bringing your foot down. So that figure 4 pose helps to soften the outside of the hip, and it softens the piriformis. So it's a piriformis stretch, and piriformis is a complex posture by its or muscle by itself, and so this can be super useful for any sort of outer hip stiffness. Again, the legs can just simply be straight up. That helps to allow things to relax. If you did it on one side, do it on the other side as always. Remembering that always to be gentle, lengthen through the lower back. And when you're ready, find that Viparini Karani. You can stay here for quite a while. This is an exceptional posture. And to go to the outside, and again with the tailbone, with the blanket or towel at the lower back, you feel that tailbone lifting up. Another option, if you feel like you prefer it, bring your feet down, keep your hips on the blanket so that you have that little bit of a coiling of the tailbone up, feet down. And either of those forms can be a Savasana form for you if it's natural for you, it feels good. Or you can release your legs long, bring your lower back off of the blanket or towel. Again, keep it under. It actually helps to lengthen your lower back while also getting a little front of the hip opening. So 2 things to leave you with. The compression in the abdomen, especially if you're able to soften the abdomen, helps to kind of install and awaken the parasympathetic or the resting response in the nervous system, and so that can be super useful. The strengthening of the front body core without necessarily shortening it. So we want to feel the drawing of the tailbone down, but then the lifting and broadening of the upper part of the thoracic spine, the upper back, and the ears moving back. And that's going to be a better action in the spine. Now we want a natural seated posture and spinal arrangement in almost all of our poses, but most of the time we have a weakness in our spine, which means we have to actively engage. And so there's some different postures today that you might not necessarily have thought of in terms of sciatic pain relief, or else the drawing of the tailbone through. Almost any posture that we do that kind of incorporate those types of arrangements, which is really almost most of the postures, has those components. Asymmetrical postures, one side will lift up a little bit more. So thinking in terms of those types of activations in order to cultivate lengthen the lower back equally on both sides. So as you rest in your Savasana, again, it's a perfect opportunity for your body to release that stress, both in digestion and elsewhere. Stay for a while, let your breath return to normal. Later on, if you feel like you'd like to give any feedback on it, maybe it's helpful, maybe you're still not understanding it, let me know. And you can message me, and I will hopefully get back to you. I'm not always the best about that stuff, but I will get back to you when I can. So this was truly an honor to be able to lead you through your practice. I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful day. About to. Namaste.